everyone. Welcome to Noteworthy Music Studio. Sorry, I have to actually adjust the camera. We are, real, not perfect.
So this is showbiz, baby.
Yeah. So tonight we are actually going to do a teacher spotlight on Miss Haley. Dun,
Hello.
Dun, dun. And the reason that I wanted to do this was because it's been just about a year that Haley has been teaching here. And I feel like unless you take lessons with her or you're sort of one of our regular people in the studio, we haven't really done a lot of live videos or really put her out there, so to speak. And so I figured I would ask her some super important questions.
Cool. All right.
We're going to ask hard-hitting journalism.
I was going to ask you, before we started, what are the questions? And then I'm like, nope, she's not going to tell me. It's going to be...
It has to be spontaneous. We're improvising here, y'all.
Yes.
We're doing Facebook Live jazz. Right. Okay. Yeah, no. Anyway, just ignore me. Okay. Okay, so tell me a little bit, how would you introduce yourself to someone?
Ooh, okay. So, well, I would say, my name is Haley.
That's a good start.
Yeah, thanks. My name is Haley. I love music. And I always have since my mom sang to me when I was little. And then, would kind of be like, sing with me, Haley. And it just, every... when we were in the car and stuff like that, she would always encourage me to sing and, hey, do you know all the words to this one, and let's sing it together. And so yeah, I love music. I love acting. I try to make jokes. If you're in a lesson with me, we laugh too much. Addie, if you're watching, just because I feel like sometimes voice lessons, I've had experiences where I felt like voice lessons were almost like an audition, where it's I'm gonna prove how much I practiced and worked on this, and that's way high stakes for me. So I try to really get comfortable with people, and so we're singing and we're also talking about how we like crazy socks, and it's a fun time.
Cats, food.
Oh, cats.
Music.
Big topic of conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, Haley is sort of she's recently entered the realm of crazy cat lady.
Yes.
So
since February, I have two cats. Their names are Carl and Ellie, from Up. But this is a whole Facebook Live altogether.
Yes,
Facebook Live about our pets.
Carl and Ellie were rescues because their human passed away. And so Haley and her significant other, Marcinko, they adopted these two kitties. And so they're doing the Lord's work.
They are, but they're jumping on the counter right now.
Oh.
Marcinko's
they've gotten real comfortable.
Cooking some ramen, and they're like, ooh, that looks toasty.
No. That looks flammable.
If you have any tips, leave them in the comments.
Aluminum foil on the counter.
Okay.
So you said that you liked to sing when you were little with your mom. So
yes.
my question was going to be, what sort of got you going down the path of going to music school?
I think, it was, I always sang, growing up, and then with my sister. I've had, people tell me all the time, you don't have to, when you're, influencing someone, you don't have to lecture them all the time about, get into music, go to music school. You just have to be enjoying yourself and having fun, and people will be like, I want some of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so for me, that was my sister. I always enjoyed singing with her. And, we would listen to Fall Out Boy, and she would be like, this is what harmonies are. And because she was
fun.
She started in choirs before I did, and she's like, let's sing, you sing this harmony, and then when I get to this verse, I'll sing the harmony. And so we would my sister's boyfriend says sometimes he feels when we get in the car together, we're having a sing off, it's a singing cage match. And I'm but it's fun.
It's ultimate cage fighting singing edition.
And so I saw her loving music and getting into music, and then I was about to start college because I was music, I love it, but I need a real job. I was like one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Like that I felt like the universe was like, hey, if you're not a big star, you know,
why bother?
Yeah. And so, but then I went to a master class with an opera singer. And I said, what would you say? I asked her, what would you say to someone?
Hi, Nikki Loney.
Hi. Oh my gosh. I think you're great. Fangirling over here.
I know, that's right. It's like when one of our teaching idols like pops on a Facebook Live. It's like there's a celebrity watching us. No pressure. So you went to this master class with an opera singer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had a little Q&A afterwards. And I said, what would you say to someone who is like thinking about going into music but is nervous about like the career path and how to work things out?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, if you take my music away from me, I have nothing. And I was like, wow, okay, like something about me like felt that. And I had this thing where I was like, I could be good at other things, but in terms of adding my meanness, my Haley-ness into a career, music was it, you know? And then from then it was like full speed ahead.
And how old were you when you went to that master class?
18.
Oh, so like senior in high school.
I was actually freshman in college, but I hadn't declared a major yet.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I was just doing my core classes, and they were like, opera master class, and I was that nerd that was like, of course, and it changed everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So why did you decide to study music then?
Man, I don't know. It's with,
because it's rough when you're in college as a vocal major.
It's a lot
because you're like sort of shoved into opera and classical music.
Right.
And
because they're not just like, oh, you're going to sing some pretty songs. It's like, welcome to different languages. Yeah. Also, you got to play some piano.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh.
And you have to learn about these theory things.
Yes.
And it's a lot. Like, this is not meant to deter anybody from music school. It's just, y'all know us, you know that we're very real about things, and so it's, if we're going to have a chat about music school, we might as well be honest.
These are real things.
Yeah, they really are. I don't think that enough people talk about with their high school students. I think we're so desperate to be validated as teachers and get students into music school that we forget to tell them that it's going to really suck sometimes. Right. You're going to completely doubt your life choices sometimes. And you're going to definitely sing music that you don't really care for sometimes. Yeah. But,
and you're going to hear not nice critiques sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say was the most eye-opening thing about your overall sort of music school experience?
I think that, to really survive through it was my friends so much, and my counselor. You gotta, we talk all the time about finding your people, and that's what I love about this studio is the community aspect of it, where it's like, oh, you wanna go into the Orlando rep? We have a lot of kids at the Orlando rep, and so the community aspect for me has always been huge, and so I feel like I've found the right place here. But having my friends that were going through the exact same thing. Yeah. Because, and after a while it's like my non-music friends that didn't get it, I was like, this ain't working out.
Yeah, it's not
it's
you,
such
it's
your own
me.
Little world.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's a very encapsulated world.
So when you're struggling with anything like that, you find the people that you're like, hey, can we study theory together? Or hey, can you help me out with this piano part? Or let's go in a room and let's work on our blend and other nerdy stuff like
or,
that. Or
hey, can you just teach me how to say this German thing? Because
totally.
My mouth doesn't really do that.
Yeah.
So
my ears would perk up. They'd be like, so and so's really good at German, and I was like, what?
Can I buy you pizza?
I crashed through their practice room. Help.
Through the ceiling? Exactly. Oh my gosh. So what sort of drew you from the end of music school into the teaching world?
So, I started teaching, I think, about maybe like a few months before I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to do that and being in like, okay, so I took vocal pedagogy with Dr. Grau. Hi, Dr. Grau. And so I took vocal pedagogy, which was so helpful to be able to like have sort of a crash course in like, hey, you sing pretty. This is how you do it. And then you're like, really? And like here's a bunch of different styles, and you know, when we did belting, we learned about Oprah. Y'all look up Oprah belting. She's great at it. Been doing it for years.
Oh my. You get a card, you get a card, you get a card.
Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, wow.
Just announcing,
that's interesting.
Yeah. We watched her announcing different celebrities, and we're like, okay, that is one healthy belt. Been going for
That's
years.
really interesting. I never even thought about that. But, you know, because we tend to teach belt style technique from a speech perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I just, ever so often, my brain just gets like, I have the little light bulb just went off. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So, see?
That is speech level belting.
That really is. That's awesome.
Having that, and then, you know, to help me sort of transition into like, wow, like I love, okay, so because I've always loved performing, and like I had this like this glow when I started gigging and stuff like that. I was like, I felt like this glow of happiness when you get off stage, right? And then I started teaching, and I saw my student perform, and the glow came back. Like I was so like, during recital days, we're like on one. We're like, yay, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So cool.
I feel like I'm like riding a rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's over and like the day is done, you're like, that was good stuff.
Yes. Now let me sink into my couch and die.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, it is. It's really, there really is a rush about that, about being the teacher, watching your students perform. It's very similar to that performance.
Yeah, you're like up there with them. And I talked to my my college voice teacher, Amy Gifford. Hello, Miss Amy. And so I'm just like shouting out everybody.
Hey,
what's
you know,
up?
why not?
So, and she said, you know, she's like, yeah, when you guys have successes, I'm like right there with you. I'm like, yes, like that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because part of what we do is nurture through growth, right? We take like, so you know, I'm in the Speakeasy Cooperative, High Speakeasy people, which is sort of like this really crazy cool mastermind group of a bunch of voice business owners, right? And we tend to talk about pie a lot. It's like one of the analogies that gets used,
like the bakery, like
an apple pie, like a baked good pie. Yes, or a pie chart, if you will. But so one of the things that we talk about is that you can make all different types of pie. And what I think about is so amazing with music is that like we get all of these different students, and they come to us literally as like dough, and we get to start with the dough.
True. And
you don't know what kind of pie you're going to get whenever it's done cooking, but because we've been with them through the entire baking process, we're like, oh my gosh, you came out and you're the most beautiful apple pie I've ever seen. But some of them are a little bit salty, so sometimes, or we have some sassy students, so they might be like a tart cherry pie.
We got some savory pies, no one's expecting that.
We do. But like with odd ingredients like garlic. They're a little, we got some spicy folks. So no, it's fun, but it's fun when you as a teacher get to nurture a student from beginning to growth and see how far they get to go. And some of them go much farther, much faster, and then some of them they're like slow cooker pies.
Yeah.
They need to bake a little longer.
To see, and you're like, you get all giddy, and they're like, what's up? Like, that's weird.
It's fun. So I think that's a really neat aspect of teaching that people maybe don't see as much from our side, because we are always giving the information. And so that's why, you know, we do a pretty ridiculous amount of recitals every year. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I look at other studio teachers studio owners are like, what? Why would you do that? And I'm like, because we want our students to have a lot of opportunity to perform, because the
Totally.
more chance they have to perform, the better they get at performing.
Yeah.
And it's good for us too, because it helps keep us motivated to be better teachers too, and to keep the momentum going. So I love that aspect of what we do. So, which leads me to my next question, which is, what excites you about coming to work every day?
So much. Okay, so I love, and I've told you this before, where like we have, teaching it takes a lot out of you, right? Like,
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
And so I've told you before, like, when I've had like difficult days, you're like, are you okay? And I'm like, I want to teach. It's the only thing that will take me out of what's going on in like personal life, blah, blah, blah. I never understood the like, leave it at the door thing until I started teaching, right? Because you're like, especially privately, you're like immersed like in what this other person is doing.
And their needs.
And like the energy of another person, it always picks me up, like without fail. So that excites me, is like the different sort of personalities I get to work with, like I had students that, again, like in terms of growth, like when they started with me, they were really, really shy. And then now they come to me and they're like, I want to audition for the thing. And I'm like, yes, you do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Addie comes to mind because like when she first came in, she was so shy. And now she's like, she did the spring musical at the school, and she's did a camp over the summer and is getting ready to go out for another audition for a big show in the fall.
Yeah.
And
recital song, Save Me.
That's
so
right.
Happy.
I mean, it's really cool. And so, yeah, I think that it goes back to, and I say this without sounding like a woo-woo-y person.
Let's get woo-woo.
If you know me and you're used to me, you know that I am kind of like a woo-woo-y person, but I'm all like, let's get in tune with the earth and like, let's sing our songs. But there is a transformative quality to music that I think most people on the surface are like, yeah, I turn on my favorite song and it makes me feel good. But I think that when you are really immersed in music, teaching and learning, performing, music becomes so much less about the surface and so much deeper in your like foundational, like how your body vibrates. You know what I mean? Like how your body hums along through this world as a musician. And a teacher of music is, I think it's very different. And I love that you said that, no matter what you're going through, you can kind of come in the studio and be, because it happens for everybody. Everybody has a bad day at work.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your industry is. And so what's great about what we do is that our students can lift us out of the muck. And it's fantastic. And we can lift them out of the muck. It's not like they come in here every day with like riding a unicorn with like a flock of butterflies behind them. Like we teach passion.
Life's about balance, like it'd probably be weird if that happened.
I mean, I think it would be totally normal to come riding to work on a unicorn, but that's me.
You'd be like, can I borrow some sparkle?
But see, we clearly don't have a good time here.
No.
There is no good time to be had.
No laughter to be had.
No, there's no joy.
That's not what we do here.
There's no joy here. So I have like, these are really the burning questions that people always want to know about teachers.
All right.
So first question is, roller coasters, yes or no?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, you're breaking my heart.
Listen, okay. Do you, like, if you want me to go full-fledged panic attack, then yes, roller coaster. If not, no roller coaster.
Okay. What about, like simulator rides, like the Harry Potter rides and stuff?
I'm about the simulator, although I haven't been on the Dementor ride because I heard that there's spiders.
Oh, it's a giant spider.
That's not my journey. So, like, but wait, okay. So I'll ride it with you, and you can go spider, and I'll go like this, and I think I'll be okay.
Okay, so definitely don't go on Hagrid's motorbike then, because I heard that there's
Really?
or is it Fluffy? No, but I feel like the spider is in that right. I don't know. I'll have to ask the resident.
Aragog hangs out, and he was a good guy, but like still a spider. So
see, I always get Aragon and Aragorn mixed up, and I forget that one is like a ranger of the Fellowship of the Rings, and the other one is a giant spider. Yeah. So clearly my fandoms need some help. Okay, so no to roller coasters.
Okay.
What's your favorite flavor ice cream?
Chocolate always.
Really?
But if I can get some, what's the ones that have like it's got like marshmallows and nuts?
Rocky Road.
Rocky Road. That's a good one.
Do you know what? I think that was Miss Hannah's answer too.
Yes.
Isn't that fun? I feel like that's like a universally loved flavor.
Chocolate, marshmallows. I mean, where can you go?
Interesting.
Honestly.
Okay. All right. So hard question. Favorite artist, like band.
Okay, I'm gonna just tell you like what I'm listening to right now. I love like Harry Styles' solo album. Killed me, and I got into it way late because as soon as something's popular, I want to avoid it. I don't know why. I'm working on it. Okay,
it's the Taylor Swift syndrome.
Yes, it's bad. Like as a musician to have that mentality of like it's popular, I don't want anything to do with it. So I'm like, it took me a minute, but Harry Styles' solo album is absolutely brilliant. And then, man, who else am I listening to? There's this band called the Fratellis. They're named after the people, like the evil people from the Goonies. Like so.
The Fratellis.
The Fratellis, yeah.
That's funny.
So they're excellent. I like any sort of like rock thing. That's like always what I'm up to.
All right. Do you have a particular band or a song that like it gets you every single time you hear it?
Gets me like emotional or hyped or anything. Okay. Gets me emotional. Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day.
Oh, that's a good one.
Every time like and then like when I hear CCR's Travelin' Band, that gets me like hyped. I love singing that song. The first song I sang for you was a CCR song.
I do love some John Fogerty.
He's fantastic.
He sounds like he swallows gravel for breakfast, and it's just glorious. He does!
In a good way. In a cool way. Like...
It is. So, I mean, it's really cool that, like, he sounds great. I like his voice. I like his jive. Mm-hmm. So, when I say, like, you have a band, people sort of walk in here and they understand that I am, like, a Beatles fanatic. And
it's evident.
Yeah. The artwork has not gone on the walls yet, but it is going up soon. And, I named my animals after Beatles songs. So there's that. But so, like, if you were going to say, I'm going to be a purveyor of facts about a certain band, who would that be?
Fall Out Boy was, like, my first, like, I love this band. Like, I used to say, like, Fall Out Boy could burp the ABCs, and I'd be like... that last album, though, Wolf, they tested my theory. They were like... I'm sorry, you guys.
They tried you? They tried your devotion? Yeah. And then, that's interesting.
Man, who else? I love... Oh, Tom Petty. Are you kidding me, Haley? My parents are watching, like, Haley. Tom Petty.
Oh, love Tom Petty.
That... Was it 2-3 years ago? That was a rough day for me.
Oh, yeah, it was 2016. 2016 was the year that, like, took everybody important that anybody cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
Chester Bennington, too. I'm still not over it, y'all.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm just, like in my car, listening, oh, yeah, all right, take it easy, baby, just wiping tears.
That's fun.
So,
oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Tom Petty, I've watched, he's got, like, a 4-hour documentary called Running Down a Dream, and I've watched it twice. I've said too much.
Hey, I make no judgment.
Yeah, okay, so, like, his Greatest Hits album came out in 93, which was, like, the year I was born, so perf, right? But, so basically, I don't know why I just said that. Anyway, what I was saying was, we listened to it so much that my parents hid it from us, like, so we'd listen to it in the car.
Oh my gosh.
And they took it out of the car, and they were like, huh, Weird. Tom Petty's not here, but we got some Aerosmith, we got some America, and so that's like, yeah.
I can totally get behind your parents' like taste in music though. They brought you up right.
Yeah.
At least
like,
they, you know.
And so when I gig, like that's what I primarily do is like classic rock. Like when Man in His 50s comes up to me, you really brought me back. I'm like, I've made it.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, so that brings me to my next question is like, what is your favorite, do you have a favorite song to sing sort of as in the pop rock genre?
Pop rock genre. Like,
if you're out gigging, like what's your like your go-to, you kill it every time?
I love Oh Darling by the Beatles.
Oh, can't go wrong there.
And then Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier, which I feel like was way overplayed, but man, what a great melody. I think
as a song, I don't care for it.
Really?
But when you strip away all of the weirdness that was Gautier,
he's weird, yeah,
and just strip it down to chords and a voice, you get a different song altogether.
Yeah, like there's just something satisfying about you didn't have to cut me off. Like there's, you know what I mean? It's so like,
well, it's a biting lyric with a biting melody line.
Totally.
So, and yeah, it's
I feel like that's why like people like hyped it so much. You know what I mean? Like it was fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. So, what are your plans for gigging this fall? Haley can be found on a regular basis singing professionally, making money, paying her bills. Where can we find you?
Oof. Okay. So I gig regularly. I play the opening night receptions for the Annie Russell Theater. So if you look at the Annie Russell Theater's schedule,
and that's on Rollins campus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you look up the Annie Russell Theater schedule, opening night, I will be at their receptions playing tunes that are curated for that show specifically. So I love doing that. That
nice.
like really gets me into my like creative like
custom playlist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
once school starts, you can be found
Dave's Boathouse.
And that's also on Rollins campus,
yes.
right?
So like Rollins is like my alma mater, and I love that they're like really like have faith in me, and that they are willing to give me a place.
You. Yeah, they're supporting your efforts to make it out there.
Yes,
which I love. I think that's fantastic.
It's so fun, and like just that performing as well. Like it keeps me sharp. You know what I mean? That like 'cause sometimes you can get in the teaching. Teaching, I don't want to call it a rut because it's an amazing one, but like...
No, you just get in the routine.
Yeah, there we
go. You just get in the flow, and you're like teaching every day, and it keeps you fresh.
Yeah, when you have a gig, you're like, this is like the chops coming out, like...
Well, and especially when you have to learn something new, you have to keep and you never know when you're going to need to learn something new or have some crazy request.
Oh, totally.
And have to really work at it. And I feel like there's this misconception that because we are teachers, are just able to sing anything like at the drop of a dime, and that we should always be able to just produce anything out of our voice boxes. And it doesn't really work that way. Like we still have to work on our own technique and our own literature and keep our own playlists and catalogs fresh, because we have to learn stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And then so Annie Russell Theater, Dave's Boathouse, and Dave's Boathouse is a fun little restaurant that's sort of tucked away down by the lake on Rollins campus, and
it's a really cool place. Good milkshakes. Come have a milkshake.
Yeah, and so she starts playing back there once school starts back again on Friday nights. And then you sing every Sunday at church too, right?
Yes, for First Baptist Church, Winter Park, which is on New York. Yeah. And such a great mix of music as well. A choir in addition to a praise team, and so it's both hymns and contemporary music, and I love that because that definitely flexes both sides of my brain. Flexes both sides of my brain. Wow. Okay.
It does.
I'm tired, y'all.
Yeah. Okay, so if you would like to meet Haley or take lessons with her, although y'all, I'm gonna be real serious, Haley at this point is like the full-time teacher here at the studio, like wah wah, which is sort of like living the dream. She's here 5 days a week and has almost 30 students and is pretty in demand, if I'm real honest. So she's
I
like,
love it though. When we go to the like Baldwin Park, it's so hard for me to like when I see like a really awesome kid, I'm like, look away.
I can't have you.
Don't get attached.
No, there's no room for you in my schedule. I'm sure that we'd be great. So yeah, but I thank you for hanging out this evening after a day of teaching and answering questions and just generally this is basically what we do on a regular basis. It's just on camera and slightly more focused for the comfort of our viewing audience so that you are not completely being bounced around like
less
a pinball.
Yeah.
So this is what happens when you put two ADD creative people together. We're like, what about this? What about that? So thanks for watching. If you have any questions about upcoming lessons when the fall schedule starts, I will be doing another live video about that coming up. I'm probably going to do some live videos from New York City this weekend because I'm getting on a plane on Friday and I'm going to go and Broadway my face off. And
that's so exciting.
I'm super excited. I'm probably going to melt my face off too because it's going to be like 114 degrees in the concrete jungle that
You're
is
like
New York.
used to that, like, because you live in a swamp basically.
I know, but we have breezes here.
True.
And afternoon rain showers.
Yeah.
In New York, it just bakes. So, yeah, we'll see. That's what a hotel with an air conditioner is for. So, tune in over the weekend if you want to see some shenanigans from New York City. There will be shenanigans.
I will be
yes,
I'll be living vicariously through Mr.
That's right. And Haley will be. She has daily shenanigans here at the studio, so you can always stop by, say hi. I would say you could say hi to Penny, but she's dead asleep on the floor right now. So that shop dog life. Mm-hmm. So have a good night, everyone. We will see you soon, and keep singing.
Bye.
Bye. Extreme close up.